Hello, thank you so much for joining me here on YouTube for a class that I am really excited about sharing with you. So, this is going to be a vinyasa class, but with the implementation of two different movement disciplines. It's going to be fascial gliding and somatic movement. And if you're the kind of person who's like, oh my God, it sounds mysterious, I can't wait, then skip over the next few minutes until I'm standing where we begin the practice. But if you want to know a little bit more about what these two things are, stay with me now because I'm very keen to tell you. So, fascial gliding is all about accessing and working with nourishing this connective tissue in our body called fascia. And it literally exists everywhere around the tissues, between the tissues, within the tissues. It literally holds us together. And the thing that fascia loves just as much as hydration is movement in lots of weird and wonderful ways. To put this into context for you, if you go to a vinyasa class, a very traditional one, you'll find that most of the poses exist in one plane of movement, which means you might be forward bending or back bending, which is your sagittal plane. You might be side bending or moving the arms away from the midline or towards the midline, which is the coronal plane. Or you might be twisting, which is the transverse plane, which is all very well and good. An amazing practice for building strength, increasing mobility and flexibility, and of course, for the benefits far and beyond the body. However, it doesn't necessarily facilitate the movement that we do on a day-to-day basis. So if you imagine, for example, that you are in the front seat of a car and you've forgotten something, it's under the other seat. To get it, you need to kind of bend, twist, curl, reach, fold, and then come out. Even if like putting something on the top shelf or reaching for something, your body goes into different planes of movement. So the fascial gliding practice is combining these planes of movement to help lubricate this fascial connective tissue that we have in our body. The wonderful thing about looking after our fascia is that it's deeply connected to our nervous system and thus our emotional and mental health. So it's a really cool thing. This second one, somatic movement, is all about creating a strong connection between mind and body. So let's take ourselves back to that vinyasa class. Often the poses are very effortful. We're kind of pushing our strength or we're pushing our flexibility to get to the end range of motion. In a somatic practice, it's the complete opposite. There's no aesthetics that we're working towards, and the movements are very, very small, so subtle, so micro that it's going to really increase and help us flex that muscle of presence, that muscle of mindfulness. And I think those are the reasons that I love these two practices so very much because it is not about what it looks like. We're not trying to attain a shape. We're leaning deeply into the felt experience. So, yes, I'm very excited to guide you through it. For this practice, I do want to end with a stillness. So if you have a bolster or some pillows, some cushions or something like that, that will be really helpful. And you can also grab yourself a couple of blocks if you have them. If you don't, something that looks and acts like a block. But because this practice is for everyone and anyone, if you don't have the blocks, then I will give you tools so that you can complete the practice without. When you're ready, we're going to start standing. So, one of the wonderful things about this practice that I'm guiding you through today is that essentially we're going to go from up regulating the nervous system to complete down regulation. We'll go from movement and awareness to stillness and presence. So we're going to begin just kind of helping our nervous system, help our brain locate our body in space. So have your feet about hip width distance, somewhere you feel nice and stable. And you're just going to lift all 10 toes. And then you're going to put them back on the ground from the outside in, one by one. And we'll do that once more. Lift all 10 toes. And then pinky, fourth, third, second, and big toes go down. Now allow a little softness in the knees. And we're going to start to just sway side to side. Just a little sway. Side to side. You might even sway enough so you feel, oh, you might tip over. That's okay. If you do tip over, that's also okay. We'll just get back up. So maybe one foot lifts. Maybe it doesn't. Maybe you keep both feet on the ground. Really what this practice is we're starting to awaken the soles of our feet. The soles of our feet have so much goodness in them, fascia and nerves. They really help the brain locate the body and create a little bit stronger proprioception. And that means just understanding that, our foot is at the end of our leg, basically. So we're going to turn this rock side to side into a circle. This is quite challenging. So it doesn't have to be big movements at all. We're just having this little all the way around. And then we'll start to go in the other direction as well. Amazing. Let that subside, and we're going to upregulate the nervous system. We're going to do that with moving. So we're just going to start swaying side to side. And try not to control the arms too much. Just kind of sway the top half of your body side to side, round and round. And as you add a little bit more force to the movement, your arms might start to go a little bit higher. And then you might think, oh, it might be quite interesting. What would it be like to bring them up over the head, swing them side to side? Or even if they stay low, how would it feel to kind of almost let the hands tap the body? The arms bend and you just explore, really. And then from there, we're going to turn this into a shake. So we can sway, we can shake the arms, shake the hands. Maybe let that sway subside a little bit as you start to bend the knees. Maybe you start to jump. And maybe it feels really weird and you feel a bit uncomfortable. It's okay to lean into it. It doesn't matter if you look a bit silly. If you're doing this alone, there's no one watching. And if you're doing this with someone, they're doing it with you. So you're all good. Have a little shake. You might go around in a circle. You might jive to the top of your mat. You might jive down to the bottom of your mat, shaking everything out, getting the heart rate up. Do, 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 do. Here we go, here we go. Come to stillness. Breathe. Just meet the sensation that is in your body right now. If there's any residual sways, any tingling through the hands, the arms, the knees, the feet. Whatever you notice, it's okay. If anything is pulling your attention toward it, let it be pulled. If you aren't already, just start to make your way to the top of your mat. And we're going to start to curl the chin down towards the chest. And we'll start to round through the shoulders, let the arms get really, really heavy, soft bend into the knees. We're curling all the way down. into a fold. And if the hands meet the ground, let them get heavy and kind of crumple as you come all the way down. And then as you come up, we're going to start to make little sways again with the top half of the body, side to side. So you might sway to the right, kind of expose your left ribs. And then you might come up a bit, sway to the left, expose your right ribs, and so on and so on. So just bit by bit, we're lifting up. We're just noticing what parts of the body are receiving this information. Does anything feel particularly good? Does anything feel new, different, unpleasant? When you get to the top, curl back down. All the way back down we go. And then once you find your way to the bottom, we're going to come up with those little slides, those little sways, so that we're rolling out of this forward fold through a side bending movement. And as you come all the way up, begin to fold back down again. This time, as you come down, if you're able to, bring your hands to the ground with a bend into the knees. And if that feels very far away, this is where you'll get your blocks. And we'll have a little bit of space between the hands and the knees. And we're going to rise up onto the ball of our left foot. And we'll start to make circles with our ankles. As the ankle comes forward, I'd like you to really press down into the toes so the top of the foot is kind of smushing into the mat. And it's probably going to feel a bit new and weird. This is something called movement mapping. And very often, when we don't move parts of the body in a specific way, the brain just doesn't know how to. So if there's a clunkiness or if there's even a shaking sometimes, that's just the brain making new pathways. We'll start to go in the opposite direction. And then release and let's come onto the other side. So we come onto the ball of the right foot. And then we start to make those circles with the ankles. And then we start to bring the circles forward enough so that we kind of smush the toes as we come around. Let's go in the other direction as well. Beautiful. And then we'll let that subside. Keep the support underneath the hands. We're going to press through the left leg and start to lift the right leg up and back. So almost like a supported warrior three. And then we're going to bend the right knee and we're going to direct the right knee out to the right hand side and then all the way forwards towards the right arm and then down. And we'll straighten the leg behind us. So we're making circles. The right leg is straight when it's sent back. And then as soon as we move it to the outside, the right knee bends. So right leg straight as it comes back, and then right knee bends. Straight, and then bends. Let's do one more. And then bring the right foot to the earth, come to the second side. So lengthen your left leg back. Remember, it's straight when it's reaching back. And then left knee bends. We draw a circle of the left knee out to the left side, towards the left arm, forward, and then back. If there's a little bit of clicking and clunking through the joint as you're moving it, don't worry. Let's do one more. Left knee out to the left side. Forward. Left leg straightens all the way back. Oh, and then we'll release down. You can remove your blocks for now. You can place the hands on the mat, and we're just going to step the left foot all the way back and bring the left knee down to the earth. Untuck your left toes, and as you inhale, bring your arms all the way up towards the sky. Now, cactus your arms, so elbows bend out in opposite directions. And we're going to bring the right elbow towards the right hip point. We'll keep it there, and then kind of curl this left elbow to touch the right knee. And then we'll come out, come back into a neutral spine, and then side bend to the left side, but keep the right arm as it is. So then we come back. Right elbow to the right hip, left elbow towards the right knee, there or thereabouts. And then we're going to come back up to center. And we take that side bend, left elbow towards the left hip. And let's just do one more of these. Right elbow to the right hip, left elbow towards the right knee. Oh, we'll come back. And then that little side bend. Beautiful. Release the hands down around the front foot, or I should say, sorry, in the inside of the right foot, and then heel to the right foot out a little bit. So what tends to happen when we're in a vinyasa class is that we think knee over the toes. It's okay, it can move beyond that. So I'm going to invite that we explore a little bit of internal, so that's the thigh rolling inwards, and external rotation of this front thigh. So rolling in and then out, and in and then out, and then in and then out. Now, next time your right knee kind of rolls out, I'd like you to turn your left foot towards the right side of your mat. And we're going to straighten the right leg. Keep the toes pointing out slightly. And then we're going to play with just moving forward and back. So the equivalent might be like a kind of lizard pose towards the half splits. But I found that very often these movements with fascial gliding don't really have a name, just an equivalent. Okie dokie. Next time your right leg straightens and your hips come back, you're going to pad your hands back and then see if you can come to sit behind the left heel so that the sole of your left foot is on the inside of your right thigh. And you're going to bring your hands to the earth. I'm going to imagine that we're a big jungle cat. We're slinking through the forest to come all the way down into a fold. So paw print by paw print. So as we're moving into this fold, we're exploring side bending at the same time. Now, as you come down into your fold, wherever you feel comfortable with, move your right hand back ever so slightly, and you're going to play with just twisting the heart a little to the right side and releasing. So twisting the heart, you might kind of point the right elbow up, and then let's take two more. Last one. Beautiful. Now we'll just take a few breaths in this fold, just straight down the center. Let's begin to bring ourselves all the way back up to seated, just drawing ourselves out. And in seated, just give yourself a moment to feel. If we remember that this practice is about the felt experience, it's about really taking up citizenship in the body. We just want to notice. What do we feel and where do we feel it? Is it in the legs, the hips, the waist, the spine, the shoulders? Let's come to the second side. So we'll just bring that right leg back in. You might just kind of swing the legs around, roll over onto the knees, and then you can probably just step actually the left foot forward to the top of the mat and the right knee can come down. Let's start bringing the arms all the way up to the sky. And then we're going to cactus the arms. And we're going to start by bringing the left elbow towards the left hip. So a little side bend. And then right elbow towards the left knee. So kind of twist. We'll come back up to center. And then imagine we could touch the right elbow to the right hip. I'm just moving in whatever pace you find most sustainable and most enjoyable. I would encourage you, if you find that you're moving very, very fast, maybe to slow it down a little bit so you can really be with what's going through the body. But it is entirely up to you. It's your practice. Let's go for just one more. And then coming back up to center. Release the hands down on the inside of your left foot. And you're going to heel toe your left foot out as though you're coming into kind of a lizard pose. You can shuffle the right leg back a little bit if it helps. And then again, you're going to start to externally and internally rotate the knee, the leg. And you'll let the foot go with it. Again, if you notice something feels a little bit clunky, it's really up to you whether or not you explore that or you just leave it alone. Only you will know what it needs. Okay. Next time you're in external rotation, so your toes are pointing out, you're going to lift your hips a little, turn your right foot towards the left side of your mat, and then start to straighten-ish the left leg. Walk the hands back in as far as you feel comfortable, as you feel steady and stable to explore this kind of moving in and moving out. Moving in and moving out. Next time your left leg straightens, walk your hands back so that you can sit down. Then bring the sole of the right foot to the inside of your left. And again, we're bring the fingertips to the earth in front of us and start to slink side to side and pad the hands forward at the same time. Once you've come down to what feels like a comfortable fold, you're going to draw this left hand back slightly, a little bend into the left elbow. And keeping your fold, you're going to see how it feels to twist the heart towards the left side and then return. So we twist and then we return. And we'll go just a few more. So maybe that can be, let's say, one more, just for luck, until you return to center and come into the fold. Just begin to journey our way out of the fold and start to find our way up to seated. Again, just taking a moment to sit with whatever the physical experience is of right now. So, whatever you notice is absolutely okay. When you're ready, we're going to start to just bring this left leg in. We're going to find our way into the center of the mat. We're going to stay on our seat. And I'd like you to take your support, any support that you're using for this pose of stillness, and just have it by your right hand side. And then just make your way down onto your back. So for this is our somatic movement. I'm going to invite you to remember that the movement's much smaller, much less effort. So if there's any temptation to make very, very big shapes, that's okay. But know that the encouragement is to keep them quite small. Keep your left foot on the ground and just straighten your right leg away from you. And then reach your arms out in opposite directions. We're going to begin just by swaying very gently the left knee, left to right, left to right. And just tune into what's going on in the body. So it might be that you're noticing the effort of the left leg. It might be that you're noticing the effects on the rest of the body from the left leg moving. So maybe it's a kind of shift of weight through the back of the sacrum. Maybe there's a sense of shakiness. It's all okay. So we're going to add almost like a little twist to this. Next time your left knee reaches over towards the right side, press through the sole of the foot and kind of lift your hips over to the right. And so you're kind of twisting through the pelvis. As left knee goes to the left, and then it returns to the center, leans over to the right, and we press through the sole of the left foot to kind of lift the left buttock off and twist the hips a little towards the right side. And we'll just do a few more of these. Next time your knee leans over to the right side and the pelvis starts to lift slightly, you reach diagonally away from you with your left arm. It's almost like you're stretching out from all the way down the left side of the body. And when the knee returns to center, the left arm just relaxes. But then when the left knee continues its journey to the right, we'll reach away from us with the left arm again. And we'll do a few of these. So just adding a little bit more movement and a little bit more information for our minds to settle upon. Okay. Next time your left knee moves over to the right hand side, I'd like you to roll all the way over onto the right side of the body. The right knee might bend as well, just so that you can roll comfortably, almost like you're coming into a fetal position. But you're going to continue so that you start to press yourself all the way up. We're going to keep the heart facing down. We're going to take our support and we're going to slide it next to our right hip point. So we come into a kind of yin restorative pose. So you can begin with the knees on top of one another, hands around the support. You'll twist your heart down onto the bolster and then relax the effort of the arms. If the bolster is too low, then take your added support, maybe your block, so you can slide them underneath. So we're going to be here for about 5 minutes. I'm going to let you know when we're halfway through, because I'm going to invite you to bring the right side of your face to the support. And halfway through, I'll ask you to swap it, which you can do or ignore. If you would like to here, just slide your left leg all the way back so it comes to the sole of your right foot. But be mindful that sensation is fine, but not like yin sensation. It's something that we don't have to struggle to stay with. As we've reached the halfway mark, if you'd like to swap your head so the left side of your face rests on the support, you are very welcome to. Again, 2.5 minutes left. If it is helpful to you, take a steady breath in and out. And then begin to slide your hands back underneath you. Start to press the ground away, to lift yourself away from the support. And we're going to start to face forward, just moving the support over to the left-hand side now, so that we can begin again on the back of the body. Take your time moving down. And as you come down onto your back, just as before, we're going to straighten the left leg and we're going to reach the arms out in opposite directions. We'll begin again just with the right knee swaying softly side to side, softly side to side. I think it's really worth mentioning that there's no specific sensation that we're looking for. We're all such different beings. We can't guarantee we feel the same when doing something like this. The movements are so small and so subtle. So if there's any kind of preconceived idea of what it's meant to be, relinquish yourself from that burden. We're going to add that first kind of portion of the twist now. So next time your knee sways to the left, press through the sole of the foot and kind of press your hips a little to the left side. And then again, just as before, returning to center. Knee sways a little to the right. And then back over to the left. Press through the foot. Feel the hips twist slightly. And then back to center again. So we'll start to add the little reach with our right arm. So next time the right knee sways to the left and the pelvis kind of lifts off the floor slightly, you're going to reach the right arm diagonally away from you. And then as the pelvis returns to the mat, soften any remaining effort in the arm. And continue in this way. So just a few cycles. Next time your knee sways to the left, let's start to journey all the way over onto the left side body. You might bend the left knee as a little support as you slowly press yourself up. And we'll prepare for the second side of our twisting deer. So the support will come right up to your left hip point, knees stacked on top of one another for the moment. And then bring your hands around the support a little higher if you need it to. And then start to drape your heart down. And we'll begin this side with the left side of the face on the support. And again, the invitation, if you'd like to accept it, is to slide the right leg off the left so that the knee snuggles towards the sole of the foot. And again, we'll be here for 2.5 minutes. I'll let you know when we reach that point. You can change the side of your face. And 2.5 minutes again. As we reach the halfway mark, if you would like to bring the right side of your face to the supports, you are welcome to. 2.5 minutes left. If it is of service to you, take a conscious breath. And then begin to slide the hands underneath your shoulders just as before. Press down to lift yourself up and away from the pose. And then we'll make our way into Shavasana. So it might be nice just to turn your support in the other direction so that you can bring your legs over it. So your knees are fully supported, heels on the ground. And then we'll just start to release down, relax down. If you want any blankets, any warmth, now is the time. And as you're ready, just lay yourself out. And just take a moment to draw your attention to your feet and let them relax. Relax your thighs, your buttocks, the sides of your waist, your shoulders, your jaw, your eyes and your eyebrows. You have nothing else to do, nowhere else to go. This pocket of time that you have carved out for yourself is yours entirely. Allow yourself to rest now, safe in the knowledge that I will bring you out when the time is right. Begin to notice your breath. That soft, steady breeze, bringing you back into the body. You notice fingers and toes. And with no objective, but entirely filled with curiosity, let a little bit of movement return. When it feels natural, allow it to grow. Maybe just flex and point the feet, flex and extend or circle the ankles. Spread the fingers wide, curl them back in. And you're welcome to bring the arms overhead, take a full body stretch. And bring the knees into the chest, give yourself a little squeeze. And then as you feel ready, rolling over to whatever side feels most tempting before pressing your way up to a comfortable seated position. And we will close our practice, just bringing hands to prayer at heart center and allowing a moment just to offer some gratitude for this wonderful body. I hope you will share with me in a final breath. Please take a steady inhale and exhale. Thank you so much for joining me in this practice. It's been a real honor to share it with you. And I really hope that there was some value in it for you. If this is something you enjoy and you'd like to experience more of, or if you have questions about the practice or anything really, then you can pop them in the comments below, or feel free to message me directly, and I'll really, really be happy to continue the conversation. So thank you so much, and see you very soon.